Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. I am so ready to bring you this exciting event to talk about how to start a travel blog that actually makes money with Somto Ugwueze. And I just want to start off with some introductions. I'm Rebecca, the Director of Virtual Events here at Wonderful, and I would love to know who you are, where you're tuning in from. So go ahead and drop in the chat. What's your name? Again, where you're joining us from, how's the weather, and what you're most excited to learn about today. Oh, I see we have someone from Bolivia, people from California. Wow, all over. I'm loving this. Welcome. So happy to have you all here. Let us know if this is your first time attending a wonderful event, if this is your first time hearing about us, if you're part of our community already. Joining from Chicago. Love it. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Now, if you haven't heard of Wonderful before, another big welcome. We are thousands of women travelers and content creators based all over the world, and our goal is to help make travel better for women worldwide. You can catch us in over 50 cities where we're regularly hosting local events, and we have an enormous online network so you can tap into the sisterhood wherever you are in the world during your travels or if you're just at home. And because Wonderful itself started as a blog in 2009, we spent a lot of time helping content creators hone the tools of their own craft, and we help businesses tell meaningful travel stories using our creator network. You might have heard of WITS, our Travel Creator Summit, which is a not to miss. And it brings hundreds of talented creators and industry marketers together every year. We're all about opening the world up, lifting barriers for women, which is why we love hosting free and online events just like this one to help you grow. If you enjoy this event and want to learn more about the benefits of Wonderful membership, then keep an eye out for this event's follow-up email so you can learn more. And you're going to get the inside scoop about the follow-up workshop that Somto is hosting in March, just for our creator members. And I just want to give a big shout out and a big thanks to our brand partners for making this event possible. Hello from Morocco. Nice to have you here. Hey, Casey. I'm happy that you love the community. I love being part of Wonderful too. Currently in Brazil. That's awesome. Lots of travelers. I'm here at home in DFW. All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our presenter today. Hi there, Somto. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to hear all that you have to say about how to start a travel blog. I've been thinking about it myself, so I know that there's going to be some good nuggets in here. We have an excited audience who are ready to glean all the information that you have to share.
I am so excited to dive right in. Great. So thank you everyone for coming to my presentation about how to start a travel blog that actually makes money. I'm going to be breaking down step by step how to build your travel blog from scratch this year and actually monetize it. So I have so much good stuff in store for you, and I'm going to jump right in. Trying to click next, but let me make sure I'm getting it. Okay, can you guys, everyone can see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, but Rebecca did a little bit of an introduction before. I've been a part of the WITS community for maybe like 3 years now. I spoke at WITS last year. I'm speaking this year as well. And I just love being a part of this global community. And I'm, so honored to get to teach you guys all the lessons I have learned over the past 5 years of blogging full time. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is talking a little bit about the new era of travel blogging, because things have changed a little bit. Well, not really a little bit, a lot, since 2020 when the pandemic happened. So I'm going to talk about the landscape right now and how you can adapt to it to still be successful. Then I'll dive into choosing a profitable niche and what that really means, the steps to set up your blogs, all the tech stuff about WordPress and plugins and all that good stuff. We're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about launching your blog, like what are the actual steps to do that in a way that generates a lot of attention and visibility, and then some tips for long-term success when you've actually launched your blog. So let's start with the very basics, because we want to make sure that we're all on the same page about what a travel blog actually is. So I would define a travel blog as a type of website that regularly, the keyword here is regularly, publishes content that helps people travel better. So this could be destination guides, itineraries, hotels, tours, and other relevant information for people who want to see the world and experience different cultures, right? So if you're here, chances are you're very adventurous, you love traveling, and so we're going to show you how to channel those passions and experiences into a blog that people love to read and that actually makes you money. So let's talk about now the state of travel blogging in 2023. I know that, no matter where you are in the world, you've been affected by the pandemic, and the travel industry in particular has been changed forever because of this event that's happened. And so what I have noticed over the past few years is that quite a number of travel blogs have disappeared as people have kind of changed focus and decided to do other things because travel slowed down for those few years. But despite that, travel is on the rebound now. Like, there was a study by Forbes that found that travel in 2023 is actually going to be about 80 to 90% of what it was in 2019 before the pandemic. So people are getting back on the road, people are flying again, they're traveling again, and this presents a major opportunity for us creators to show them how they can travel better, to share our experiences, to share our insider knowledge, and really help people experience the best that the world has to offer. And so blogging in general is also, still very much alive and well. 77% of people still read blogs regularly. 60% of people actually buy a product after they read a blog post. And blogging is a $400 billion industry. Travel is a pretty big chunk of that. And so there's plenty of opportunity here, no matter what stage you are in your blogging journey. So yeah, without fail, every single year I hear the question, is travel blogging dead, right? Is anyone here wondering whether it's still worthwhile to start a travel blog? Like, there's no there's no shame about that. I get that question all the time. And the truth is that no, travel blogging is far from dead. It has changed significantly, but as I mentioned, travel is making a big comeback this year. And as long as there are people searching for what to wear in Bali or where to go this summer, travel blogs will always be relevant. And in fact, Neil Patel, who's a big marketing guy, he's talked about how 93% of online experiences begin with a search engine. So most of the time when people have a question or looking for something, they're going to go on Pinterest or on Google or on Yahoo. And these search engines favor long form in-depth content. And that's what blogs really are. Just these information sources for different types of people, and especially travelers. So another question I get is travel blogging too saturated? Let's just say is. And I don't believe so at all either. And it comes down to one specific idea that I learned back when I was starting my journey, and is that there are no unique messages, only unique messengers. Sure, there might be tons of budget travel bloggers out there, or solo female travelers, or luxury travelers, but there's only one you. There's only one person who has your unique message, your unique experiences, your unique background. And so we haven't heard from you yet. And that's the missing piece, right? You are the missing piece. And so it doesn't matter how many millions of blogs are out there now. What matters is that you have a perspective to share. And that's what we want to help you really tap into and share with the world. And so before I actually go into talking about travel blogging, specifically, I want to talk about the different types of blogs, because this makes a difference in how you can monetize. So for most people, right, we are talking about a blog-based business. And this is the type of business where the core product is the content. So the blog posts are what you're using to generate income by selling access to your audience in the form of, let's say, display ads, sponsored posts, or maybe selling other people's products through affiliate marketing, right? And with this business model, typically you have one blogger who creates all the content based on their knowledge and experiences. And then we also have a business blog, which is a little bit different, because in this case, we have typically like a company or an agency that's using a blog as a marketing tool for their business. And so the revenue comes from selling like digital products and services, or like even physical products sometimes. And this type of blog model, there's like a team of writers that creates content based on an editorial calendar. And we're going to talk more about what an editorial calendar is a little bit later. But what I think is the future of blogging, and I'm so excited to share with you guys this, is what I call the hybrid blog model. And this is something I created just based on my experiences and based on the shift I had to make during the pandemic. So before the pandemic, I was getting around like 80,000 page views a month to my travel blog. And I was monetizing mainly through affiliate marketing, which is promoting other people's products in exchange for a commission, and also through ad revenue from a company called Mediavine. And that's all I was focusing on. But then when the pandemic happened, I lost about 80% of my traffic. And so I lost a lot of that passive income from ads and affiliates. And so I had to really think on my feet really quickly, like, how else can I monetize my blog? Like, what else can I create and offer to my audience to make money? And that's when I came up with the hybrid blog model. So I kind of combined the best of both worlds with the blog-based business and the business blog. And I was still selling affiliate products and still generating ad income, but I also created my own products and services, and I sold that to my audience to kind of make up for the decrease in revenue. And that's how I came up with this hybrid blog model. And that's what I think is the future of blogging, because the pure passive income blog nowadays isn't as common. The blogs today that have most of their income coming from affiliates started maybe like back in 2008, 2010, that region. But nowadays, if you want to have maximum control over your income and really have a sustainable business as a blogger, it makes sense to create something that you own and control. And that way you can have passive income and also have your own revenue sources that give you that balance and security. So that's what I believe is really the future of blogging. And I want to mention this. I talked about this last year at the Women in Travel Summit, and I think it's so important to mention this again. It's that diary style blogs are dead. Right? When blogs first started in like the 90s, people would just use them as like a kind of an online diary and share like their thoughts and what they did yesterday and all of that. But nowadays, like unless you're Kim Kardashian or like someone super famous, no one really wants to read that. People are looking at blogs for actionable information. They are looking to be inspired, educated, entertained. And of course, you can still share your perspective. I share my opinion all the time on my blog, but then I focus mainly on how it helps my reader. And that's really the main difference now with blogging in 2023 versus blogging in 2013 and before that, right? We have to create actionable content that helps our readers in some way. And so now that we've talked a little bit about the difference between, a business blog, a blog-based business, and the hybrid blog, I want to talk about one of the most important topics when it comes to creating your blog, and that is a niche. Now, what exactly is a niche? This word gets thrown around a lot, so I kind of wanted to dive deep into this. So a niche is the main topic of your blog. And I want to be really clear that travel in general is not a niche, right? Travel is way too broad because there are so many different types of travelers, right? So when I talk about a niche, I'm talking about a specific type of travel, like solo travel or budget travel or travel in Florida. I mean, I have people, students in my courses who write about Turks and Caicos, and that's her entire blog is about Turks and Caicos. And I have another blogger who writes about backpacking, right? We have to get really specific about what it is that we're writing about, and then that helps us develop authority and build an audience a lot more easily and quickly, right? So when it comes to choosing a niche as a travel blogger, usually you're going to be focusing either on a type of travel, like a style of travel, like maybe like budget travel or luxury travel, or you can focus on a destination or region. So I have people who focus on like just Miami, and I have people who focus on like the Caribbean, right? That's how you become known for something, and that's how you really lay the foundation to attract an audience and make money. So on your blog, all the content you create has to somehow link back to your niche, right? And that's another thing that's different nowadays, is because there's so many blogs. I mean, there are 32 million blogs in America alone. So right, in order to stand out, you need to really get clear about what it is that you are focusing on for your blog and who you're helping. So I get this question all the time as well, and it's like, should my blog have one niche? And I believe absolutely yes. Start with one niche. Why? Because when you focus on one person and one topic, it becomes so much easier to stand out, to build authority, to grow your audience, to plan your content, and to get traffic, right? If you start your blog and you're writing about 10 different things, then it's kind of hard to get a sense of what you're about. But then if you're the blogger who was all about, let's say, travel in Hawaii, or if you're the blogger who's all about, let's say, even like sustainable travel or travel in underrated destinations, or there are even bloggers who just focus on like Croatia or the Mediterranean, right? When you become that go-to person for a specific topic, you are going to stand out much more easily and grow your audience. So I always recommend to start with a narrow niche, and you can always branch out. Like you can start with just, let's say, California, and then you can branch out to other states in America. But then like initially, like we know you as a California blogger, and then that's what you become an expert at, and you are able to rank better on Google, grow an audience, and monetize a lot faster. So yes, always start with one niche. It's super important. And then another question I get is like, how do you know if your niche is profitable? And this is pretty simple, right? So you can tell if your niche is profitable by just doing some research to figure out if people are actually searching for that topic, right? And then when I was starting my travel blog, I did a lot of research looking at other bloggers' income reports. So for instance, this is a blog called Practical Wanderlust, and they shared like their income reports of how much they made in their first full year. And I've read like tons of income reports from like different niches, and kind of to see the income potential and see how other people are monetizing their blogs. So you want to see that people are actually buying products related to that niche. Like for instance, in travel, people are buying tours or like cameras, different things that help them travel, right? And then, so you also want to see like, are bloggers in this niche making money? And that's where the income reports come into play again. And then also be very careful about who your audience is. For instance, if you want to write about hitchhiking, are hitchhikers really going to be, buying your $500 camera, for instance, right? Versus, let's say, luxury travelers who are going to book, like, the yachts and the fancy experiences, right? So you actually want to target an audience with like spending power. And if you let's say if you target like let's say a budget travel blog, and you can still make money, but typically you're gonna need like a higher volume of sales, right? So we kind of think about who it is that you're targeting and how that fits into your monetization goals. But I think that no matter what niche you choose, as long as people are searching for it, there is definitely a potential to monetize there. And as I'm talking, like, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat, right? There's like a private chat, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
there have been a few, and I'd love to pull some up if
yeah,
you are
yeah, of course,
open.
yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to answer questions. I don't want
We're
to,
asking about a double niche.
a double niche. What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by double niche? Let us
Like
know in
two
the chat.
niches?
I think that's what that is. And
Oh,
then
okay.
what about an identity niche?
Absolutely. Yes, you can definitely have an identity niche. Like, there are tons of people who blog about like traveling while Black. I mean, part of my blog is about traveling as a solo female Black traveler. People who blog about, LGBTQ travel, people who blog about traveling with disabilities, people who blog about traveling for chubby people. Like, there are so many different travel niches. So yes,
Mm,
yeah, traveling as an identity is a really smart way to differentiate yourself. In terms of a double niche, I
mm.
think, I mean, you can definitely have multiple ideal budget and health and wellness. Um,
As a double niche.
oh, got it. I think yeah, you can definitely integrate two different niches, but when you're starting your blog, I would probably just start with one and then expand to the other. Or you could approach it as like budget travel for health conscious people. So you could weave it in that way where you are talking about budget travel, but then like your ideal reader is a health conscious person. So that works too. But I wouldn't, for instance, start a blog about like health and wellness being a pillar content and then budget travel being another pillar content. Like, those are two separate themes and with like very little overlap. So in that case, I wouldn't do that. But if you're writing about budget travel for health conscious people, then that could definitely work. Any other questions before I move forward?
Yeah, there's a question about the hybrid model.
Oh, okay. What is the actual specific difference between a personal blog and the hybrid blog style? So the main difference is just in how we monetize. So you can have a personal blog that's also a hybrid blog. And what that means is that it generates income not just from third parties like ads and affiliates, but it also generates income from a product that you're selling. Maybe it's like printables or maybe t-shirts, or in my case, I sell courses as well, right? So the main difference is just in how you monetize. So you can have a resource blog that's maybe not like a personal blog, and that blog can be a hybrid blog as well. So like it can be a hybrid blog and be a personal blog or a resource blog. But what makes a difference is how you monetize it.
Great answer. We have a lot of questions. I want to be conscious of
Okay.
time,
Yeah,
so we can
I
get
can
into
circle
the
back to
next.
those, but I want to get through all my slides first. Okay, so how to choose a niche, right? People are often wondering, like, okay, so how do I know what niche I should focus on? And that's a really good question. And there are typically 5 questions I always ask when it comes to choosing a niche. And then it's like, what is it that people ask you for advice on? So early on, I knew people were always asking me for advice on Spain. And they were asking me for advice on solo travel, right? And so I took note of that. And that eventually became what I focused on. And also knowing that there's an audience for that. Like, so is there actually an audience for that, or other people who are searching for this? And you can figure that out through competitor research, and also through like research in on Facebook groups and social media, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Can I make money writing about this topic? And then that goes back to researching your competitors and seeing how they monetize and seeing like their income reports, right? That can help you gauge how much income potential is in your niche, how much competition is there in this niche. So competition is actually a good thing. If there's competition, right, there are hundreds or thousands of solo female travel blogs at this point. And that tells me that because people are searching for solo female travel tips, that's why these blogs exist in the first place. So competition is a good thing. And that shows you that there's actually a that topic. But we also want to be cognizant of how much competition there is. Like for instance, if you want to write about New York City, right? There are so many blogs about New York City. And so in that case, you definitely want to have an angle and not just write about New York City in general. Like maybe start with like Brooklyn or Harlem and then build your way up so that you can stand out more easily and build an audience, right? And then the other question is, can I write about this topic for the next 2 to 3 years consistently? And this is a big one because writing fatigue is real, right? I mean, I've been writing about the same topics for the last 6 years, and that's because I love it, and like I can talk about it for ages and ages, right? But if you ask yourself this question, you're like, maybe I don't know if I could really talk about this for the next 2 years. Like, oh no, like I'm gonna get tired of this. Then maybe it's not the right niche for you. You really want to be excited about the topic and just show up and be passionate about it, because it's going to help you like attract those raving fans, and it's going to also help you be motivated to just keep writing, because it is going to be a process, and you want to make sure that you're 100% like committed to what you're doing. And then, okay, so we talked about, what a niche is, how to, figure out what the right niche is for you. And so when you have some idea of what niche you want to focus on, it's time to research your niche, right? To actually validate that this is the right niche for you, right? And one of the quickest ways to do that is just to do a simple Google search. So let's say you wanted to maybe focus on budget travel. You can search for best budget travel blogs, and you're gonna see a bunch of different like lists of like budget travel blogs, and you can look through like 50 or so, and just kind of look through them, like scan them and see, okay, what are they writing about? What are they promoting? Like, are they promoting tours, gadgets? What does their brand look like, right? This is you investigating the niche and seeing what's already out there and seeing how you get into this niche if you decide to go with that topic, right? So just a simple Google search will like yield a lot of information for you. And you can do the same thing with like best solo female travel blogs, best Costa Rica travel blogs, best New York City travel blogs. Like the options are truly endless. So if you have an idea for a niche, you can just do that quick search and you can research the blogs that are already in that niche. Another really powerful way to discover your niche is to understand your ideal reader, to take the time to research who they are exactly, what they're looking for, and how you can help them. And I have found Facebook groups to be a gold mine. Like I have stalked so many Facebook groups, like Girls Love Travel, We Are Travel Girls, the Black Travel Movement. And I just go in there and I enter certain keywords just to see what questions people have been asking about it. Like I write a lot about Spain. So I went to the Black Travel Movement and I searched Spain and I saw all the questions people were asking about Spain, all the concerns. And you know what? Those are topic ideas, right? I go into the Girls Love Travel group and I search for solo travel and I see people's experiences about solo travel and their questions. Those are topic ideas, right? So the best way to really understand your ideal reader is to actually talk to them. So even going beyond Facebook groups, actually go out and meet these people and talk to them. And I think WITS is a great way to do that. Like I met so many solo female travelers at the conference, and I've been to a lot of other conferences like TravelCon and like these conferences are a great way to meet other travelers. And even if you can't meet them in person at a conference, like you could even schedule like a Zoom call with a few people. Say, hey, I'm looking for people who are solo travelers and who can share some information with me, and give them some kind of incentive to get on a call with you. Like maybe you get a free like Amazon gift card or like something to get them to exchange information with you, and you're going to get a trove of information about your ideal reader, and that will help you better understand who you're writing for. And when you understand who you're writing for at a deep level, you know their pains, their desires, their goals, their dreams, their quirks, their frustrations. Like when you understand them in such detail, you can write really powerful, memorable content that will have them flocking to you in droves, and you're going to build your email list, build your Instagram following. Like that's how you become magnetic in your niche, right? So that's really the biggest difference between people who have like a loyal audience of raving fans and people who just have like visitors to their blog. It's just really understanding who they're writing for. And then branding your blog. Like this is not something we really talk about much in the blogging world, but it's so important to have a distinct brand identity, especially nowadays when blogging has become much more mainstream. So like in order to brand your blog, you first have to like decide on your niche. So you're going to be like a budget traveler, or you're going to be a solo traveler. Then get familiar with your target audience through like research on Facebook groups by talking to them, even polling your audience on Instagram. So if you have an audience on Instagram right now, go and poll them, ask them like a number of questions to see, okay, what kind of travel are you into? What are you looking for? Do you want to go on a group trip, or do you want to go on a solo trip? Like you can just poll them and ask them questions and get to know what they want, right? And then you want to evaluate your own personality. So if you're creating a personal blog, then are you more like are you a professional? Are you like funny? Are you quirky? Are you feminine? For me, like I'm very feminine, so like that comes across in like all my content. And for instance, on my About Me page, I have like a photo of myself like riding a bike in Tulum, and I incorporate that like the color yellow is something I incorporate throughout my blog, and it's just part of my brand identity, like this sunny, bright, happy solo traveler, right? You want to really be known for something, and it comes down to like, how do you want to make people feel, right? Like when people come to your blog, how do you want them to feel? Do you want to feel inspired? Do you want them to laugh? Do you want them to be moved? Like think about what kinds of emotions you want people to feel, and then also factoring your monetization goals, right? So for instance, I want to promote guided tours for solo female travelers, and so by kind of presenting myself as this like happy-go-lucky very like adventurous solo traveler, I attract those types of people and they buy my tours, right? And I'm also like, doing group tours this year, so I want to attract those people as well. So think about, what message, what image you want to project to people, and then incorporate that into not just the look of your blog, but your style of writing, your tone, and just even your social media as well. And then, okay, I'm gonna talk about one of my favorite topics when it comes to blogging. And this goes even deeper than having a niche, right? It's great to if you know that you want to be a budget traveler, if you know that you want to be a luxury traveler, or you want to write about Turks and Caicos or Barbados or wherever it is, that's great. But that's actually not enough. We have to get even deeper, right? And this is what I call your signature topic. And what is your signature topic? This is simply the topic that you can write about better than 99.9% of the population due to your practical experience with the topic. Maybe you have some kind of background knowledge from your education, and like your signature topic if you can give a speech about this without preparation, right? So for me, my signature topic wasn't just Spain, it was Black travel in Spain, right? That's when I really took off. When I started talking about the Black travel experience in Spain, I attracted so many readers. I grew my traffic to like 80,000 page views, grew my email list to like 5,000 people. That's when I started to really get people to notice me, right? I went really deep into one specific topic that I could talk about for ages. And for instance, I have this post here which has been shared by 92,000 people, and like I talk about like my experience as a Black traveler in Spain. Like I have a post that ranks really well that talks about like the truth about racism in Spain. And so like I really addressed the needs of a very specific type of person, which is like the Black traveler who is going to Spain, right? So your signature topic is very specific, and it's something that helps you stand out. And it's like it's the thing you're going to be known for. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. If you have any questions about this, feel free to drop that in the chat as well. So once you have your signature topic, right, we want to also build out your content strategy, because you can have all the different topics that you want to write about, but we have to really put it all together so that you are creating content consistently. And so in order to build a content strategy, okay, first you have to identify your niche and then narrow that further down to your signature topic. Research your competitors to see what's already working out there. Do some research on your audience and your ideal reader, and then get clear on your brand. So like the voice, the angle, your writing style, and then we can get to your editorial calendar, right? So I wonder how many people here have heard about an editorial calendar before. This is something that I think yeah, there we go. This is something that a lot of newspapers and magazines use for their content creation. So this is my editorial calendar from January, and I was writing all about Croatia. So I was writing a series about Croatia, and I had my topics, my due date for the drafts, and then I also had like the keywords I was targeting, right? So your editorial calendar is your master content plan that helps you stay organized and consistent with your content creation. Because if you just wake up every morning and write when you feel like, you're not going to grow your blog, right? So having this calendar helps you kind of map out what you're doing when you're doing it. And the good thing is that if you have like a blog manager or someone helping you, maybe even if you hire writers for your blog, you can even just add them to your editorial calendar and they can see what content is coming up and help you publish content more consistently. So an editorial calendar is a must-have if you want to blog consistently and grow your traffic and income. And then, I think I am going, okay. I think I might have skipped I think I'm going forward. Wait, how do I need to get back to, I think I went forward too many times, so I need to go back. Let me see if I exit, because it's showing me, yeah, it's showing me, I went forward like a number of times. Do you have any idea how to get back to the?
Here, I can, I'll remove it from the screen.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and, go ahead.
Oh.
Yes, an editorial calendar is a must.
Oh, okay. I figured it out. Okay, so we're talking about your signature topic and then your content strategy and then SEO. There we go. Yeah, I'm back. I figured it out. Okay, perfect. So yeah, SEO, like bloggers always have a hard time with this. And SEO is actually one of my favorite topics because I was so intimidated by it initially. I was like, what is this? Like backlinks, meta descriptions, like what is going on? But then like I actually took the time to research SEO and learn more about it and like really dive deep into it. And I figured out that it wasn't actually that hard. Like it's actually a pretty straightforward process. And so SEO is really the process to get your blog posts indexed and ranked on what are called SERPs, which are search engine results pages. So if you search for like, let's say, things to do in Paris, right? You're gonna see like the results page with like all the the blog posts and articles about it. Like your goal is to get your blog on that first page, and not only on that first page, but like in the top 3, right? Because like there was a study that found that like 50% of the traffic goes towards like the top 3 posts, right? And so when it comes to SEO, people become really obsessed with keywords. Like I just need to like write about the right keywords and that will get me on top of Google rankings. But actually no, SEO is not about keywords. SEO is about user intent. And what I mean by that is SEO is really about writing for a person, not Google, right? Because if you write content that answers all the questions that people have and gives them all the answers they're looking for, then naturally Google is going to push you up because you are giving people what they want. And Google's main job is to give people the answers they're looking for. So your goal is not to have all the right keywords. It's to address the intent of the user who is searching for that keyword, right? And so when it comes to SEO, typically people will tell you to brainstorm some keywords that your ideal reader might be searching for, to plug those keywords into a tool like Ubersuggest or Key Search, and then to look at the keywords that have high search volume and low competition. But this is the wrong way to do SEO. And I did that initially, and I ended up with like no traffic, right? I had 42 page views 1 month because I was doing things. And then I learned the right way to do SEO, which is actually based on competitor research, not keyword research, competitor research. Figuring out who in your niche, again, going back to like doing that niche research, who else is in your niche? Who else is getting traffic and building an audience and making money? And what are they writing about? And how can I create content that people are searching for and add my unique flavor to it to drive traffic to my site? That's the best way to do SEO. And that's why competitor research is better than keyword research, because it's impossible to sit down and brainstorm all the keywords that your reader could be searching for. It is impossible. I have done research and I have found 7,000 keywords that solo travelers are looking for. There's no way I could come up with 7,000 keywords on my own. Like, it's impossible, right? But when you find other solo female travel blogs and you use a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush or Key Search, and then you look at all the pages that are driving traffic to other blogs, then you can find keywords more easily. And you also know that because your competitors are getting traffic for these keywords, that you can too. And that makes the process so much easier. And when I learned this, everything changed. That's how I was able to go from 42 page views to 78,000 page views in like 6 months. It made a big difference for me. So it's to sum things up, your goal is not to target the best keywords. No, your goal is to create the most in-depth content for a specific reader and then signal to Google to display that content for relevant keywords, right? The person you're writing for is more important than the keyword. And that also relates to your signature topic, because if your signature topic is about, let's say, travel in Mexico, and you're writing for, let's say, a woman who works a full-time job and has like is trying to maximize their vacation time, your ability to answer the questions of that woman and write about all the questions she has about Mexico is more important than the keyword you're targeting, right? So we want to build relevance for our blogs around a specific topic that our reader is searching for. And when we do that repeatedly, we become known for that topic, and then Google can trust our site. And then whenever our reader searches for, let's say, Mexico travel for millennials or Mexico travel on a budget, right? You're going to show up. So focus on the reader and not the keywords. I hope that made sense. Awesome. And then I talked about an editorial calendar earlier, and keeping organized. Yeah, we already kind of went through this, so yeah, let's skip that. So now we'll talk about, okay, so once you have your editorial calendar, you have your ideal reader figured out, you have your signature topic, right? How do you actually write content that gets people's attention and that gets traffic? And I broke it down into what I call the PAC method. And this stands for perspective, audience, content structure, and keyword, right? So even though I don't believe that keywords are the main thing that we're focusing on, see, like the audience and perspective come first, right? I do think that being cognizant of what people are actually searching, what your ideal reader is searching for, is still important, right? And so when it comes to creating content for every blog post, you want to make sure that you have a clear perspective. Are you for or against something? Are you going to break down the pros and cons, or are you showing like the ultimate guide? Like you want to have a very clear message in your post, because that's how you're going to really stand out. You want to make sure that you are addressing the questions that your audience actually has. So what are they searching for regarding this topic? What do they actually want to know? And then the content structure comes down to creating content that is scannable, right? You have headings that break down different sections. You have keywords that that are related to what the person is searching for, right? Going back to the audience, right? Excuse me. And it's best to target long tail keywords. So what's the long tail keyword? So Paris is a seed keyword, and the long tail keyword would be something like things to do in Paris at night. Let's say we have budget travel is a seed keyword, right? Budget travel has no intent, but how to travel on a budget in the Bahamas has a specific intent. So the difference between a seed keyword and a long tail keyword is that a seed keyword is just a general entry that doesn't have any real intent, whereas a long tail keyword has a specific purpose and shows that someone is looking for something. Does that make sense?
That was a really good explanation. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. So when it comes to creating content that gets attention and stands out, we want to follow this method, making sure we have a perspective, we're writing for our audience, our content is easy to follow and scan, and then we actually are targeting long tail keywords and not seed keywords. And then one of my least favorite parts of blogging, but we have to talk about it, right? Because I talked about how to find the best web hosting for yourself if you're just like brand new, or if maybe you've already started a web host, you've already signed up for a web host, but you're not really satisfied with it, right? So I want to quickly address the tech part of blogging in a few minutes, and then we're going to open it up for questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So web hosting, so a kind of general term for web hosting, or kind of a explanation for web hosting, is it's a storage space for your blog on the internet, right? So if you have a garage for your car, a web host is like a garage for your blog on the internet, right? There are free hosting web platforms like Tumblr, Blogger, WordPress.com, but I recommend being self-hosted because that gives you control. And being self-hosted means that you actually own that plot of land where your blog is located, where all your files are stored. And so having a self-hosted blog is really important, because if you have monetization in mind, it gives you a lot of control over like the layout, SEO, and adding additional functions, like even like adding an ad network to your site, like Mediavine or AdThrive. If you want to monetize that way, you can customize your blog more easily. You can access your backend files to make changes more easily. And usually like a hosting company costs somewhere like $3 to $5 per month to start. And so when it comes to finding a web host, there are 7 things that I would recommend that you look out for, right? The speed. So like looking at fast loading times, the uptime of the web host. So the uptime refers to like the percentage of time when the server is up and running. So sometimes web hosts have to like, shut down for a little bit because they have to reboot and deal with tech issues. But you want to make sure that at least like 99% of the time the web host is up and running, because if your blog is down, you're losing traffic, you're losing revenue. Customer service is a big one, because when you're setting up your blog, you're going to have questions, right? And you want to be able to access text or phone support. Security is another big one, because my blog has been hacked a few times on my old web host that I started with, and that's why I actually switched web hosts. And having a web host that has a really robust security system is super important. Like you want to look out that they actually have a security system in place for protecting the sites that they host. Server quality, you want to make sure that the server can handle a high volume of visitors. User experience. So you want to actually look at what normal users have to say, not affiliates, normal users. This makes a big difference, because in the beginning, I bought a web host based on what affiliates were saying, and I had a terrible experience with it. But then I went and actually read reviews from normal people, and I saw like the truth of what it's actually like to use the service. So look at normal users, and there's a website called webhostinggeeks.com. It's currently under maintenance right now, but typically they have thousands of reviews for web hosts around, like, and any web host you can think about, they have reviews for that. And then pricing, a good starting point is like, again, $3 to $5 to $6 per month. And then, okay, I'm actually going to talk about the web hosting companies I recommend. I recommend SiteGround. I've been using SiteGround for 5 years now, and I absolutely love them, especially their customer service. WP Engine is another really good one that's very responsive. It has all those features that I talked about. And Big Scoots is a little bit pricier than normal, but it's great if you're, like, when you get to like, when your site reaches like over 100,000 and you need more space, this is a really good one to consider. I'm also going to share web hosts that I don't recommend, because this is also important to know what to avoid. I don't recommend Bluehost, HostGator, DreamHost, GoDaddy, or any web host that's under the company called EIG. So if you search for EIG web hosting companies, you're going to see a long list of web hosts that are housed under this company. And the bad thing about these hosts is that they stuff a lot of websites onto the same server, which leads to like a lot of downtime, slow loading times, and the customer service is just horrendous. Like, I used Bluehost initially, and I know Bluehost is very popular, but like I had a terrible experience with them, and I switched to SiteGround, and I've been using SiteGround for 5 years, and I love them, right? So I'm just being really honest, because I have a lot of students who have used like these hosts, and they've had a terrible experience, and so I want to save you from going through all that hassle and changing hosts and dealing with bad customer service. So I don't recommend any of these sites, any of these web hosting companies, and yeah, if you can avoid them, please do. And okay, let's talk about the fun part. So you have your web host set up, hopefully not one of the ones I listed there. You have your niche decided, you have your signature topic decided. Now, what do you do next, right? So the important thing is to write a series of content around your signature topic. And for instance, if you decide that you're going to write about outdoor adventures, so I would focus on writing 10 to 20 really solid pieces of content around outdoor adventures, and having that live on your site before you publish, right? You want to have content already on your site so that when people visit, they can read multiple pieces of content, right? When I launched my travel blog, I had 15 posts already published. And when people visited my site, I got 400 page views in just one day, just because I had already had content for people to read. And you also want to go on a promotion spree, like let everyone know, let your friends, your family, like your neighbors, like just shout it to the rooftops, let everyone know that you have this blog, and like just be really excited and share everywhere, right? I just went crazy and I let everyone know my blog was live, and I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on Facebook, right? Just go on a promotion spree and get that momentum going, so that you can get some people visiting your site. And then after that, you want to focus on SEO, Pinterest, and like long-term traffic growth strategies. And we're out of time, so I want to make sure I finish everything. So I have this kind of guideline that I use for long-term success when it comes to blogging. So I kind of break it down in terms of the seasons. So like the first 6 months is the season for planting, learn, build relationships, experiment, and publish your first 30 to 50 posts. After that, you want to nurture your audience, build your email list. You can also build your social media accounts, build some backlinks, do some guest posts to get more visibility and more authority for your site. Then after that, the first that's for the first 6 months to 12 months, and then actually the next 6 months to 12 months, and then after that, from 12 to 18 months, you want to kind of evaluate your progress, double down on what's working, and just keep building and keep going. And then the harvest season typically comes, I think, about like 18 months. This is kind of like a moderate, like generous estimate, right? Because it depends on how much content you're publishing. But typically speaking, like around the 18-month mark, you're going to get like that growth and traffic, everything kind of falls into place. And this can actually happen faster too, depending on how much content you create and how consistent you are. But you're going to reap the rewards of your work, and then you're going to rinse and repeat. Just keep doing what's working and growing your blog going forward. And let's see. Okay, some mistakes to avoid. Okay, so don't brainstorm keywords. Again, like I mentioned before, brainstorming keywords is just ineffective and slow. So you want to research your competitors instead. Don't ignore SEO. Start with SEO like as soon as possible. I typically recommend like to build your blog with SEO in mind, and just get all that the meta descriptions and the permalink structure all done correctly. So when you begin, you don't actually need to focus on social media because you're building a blog-based business, and your blog is the business. Social media is just a tool to reach more people. So you can actually not have an Instagram at all and still be successful. Writing for yourself is also another mistake because you're writing for your reader, and they're the most important equation here. Posting sporadically, this I'm guilty of this myself, so like so like no judgment, but like in order to really build an audience and establish authority and gain momentum, like having a posting schedule definitely does help. So even if it's like once a week or once a month that you can get behind, like just making that consistent. Not having a monetization strategy, I always say like you want to open a grocery store and then decide what you're gonna sell afterwards. Like you know what you're gonna sell, and then you open the store, right? So knowing how you want to monetize before you even start, like do you want to do ads, do you want to do affiliate marketing, do you want to sell your own products, having some idea of how you're gonna monetize is super helpful. And then don't quit too soon. People quit. 90% of bloggers quit within the first 6 months. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years, and I've seen so many people come and go, right? Like people quit like right at the cusp of success, and like if you just keep going, like you're going to make it. Like I promise you, just keep going. And if you're ready to start your blog, I have a really special opportunity right now, where you can get mentorship from me and my tech support team to get your blog off the ground. It's called the Blog Starter Bundle. And with this bundle, you're really getting a step-by-step blueprint to create your blog with all the tech stuff, to grow your blog, grow your traffic, and monetize your blog in a way that suits your lifestyle, your goals, and your passions and interests, right? So when if you want to, go to the next level and hit the ground running, you can, join this bundle, and you get access to 2 of my foundational courses. So I have the Create Your Blog Bootcamp, which tells you the basics of setting up your blog on WordPress and getting a theme and all of that. I have the Blog to Business Accelerator course, which talks about the strategy, my 5-step blogging system to go from like new blog to business. And then I also have a resource library of like everything you can think of: SEO checklists, brand pitch files, like email marketing swipe files, you name it, everything is in there to really make it easier for you to reach your audience, grow your traffic, and monetize. And what I really love is I've brought in a dedicated tech support person who you can get access to for an entire month. So if you want to get help with your WordPress, you want to get help with like plugins and all of that, you can reach out to him anytime for an entire month, and he'll get back to you within 24 hours. There's also a private community and access to the Ahrefs SEO tool to do your competitor research. So you get 3 months of access to that, and that will give you all the information you need and all the topic ideas you need to write your blog post for like the next 5 years. So we make it super easy for you to get started. And so if you want to take advantage of this, you can get started by going to this website, somto6.com/start, and you can save $150 using the code WONDERFUL for, I put it February 15th, but I might extend that depending on what comes up. And yeah, that's really it. I wanted to kind of finish quickly, but I always say like my favorite quote at the end: it always seems impossible until it's done. Like no matter how big your goals are, no matter how outlandish they may seem, like it's always possible. And so thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate everyone being here and having me here. Wonderful. And I'm so excited for the Puerto Rico retreat in May. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys there as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. There were so many questions that we just aren't able to get to. We do have, if you have questions, we do have a chance for you to come to Wonderful. We'll have a follow-up workshop Q&A with Somto in March, on March 10th, just for our creator members. So if you time it right, we have a 14-day free trial for Wonderful. come on in. And again, you can have more of your awesome questions that she can ask. Unfortunately, with only an hour, we can only answer so many questions and give you so much information. Yeah, but I thank you so much, Somto, and I thank everyone for joining us today. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you around.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, everyone. Bye.